Hey, good morning, folks. Welcome to another live stream with Montana Outdoor Science School. My name is Melanie, and today's topic is all about feline skulls. Before I get too deep into feline skulls, though, I wanted to talk about something that is happening tomorrow and on Friday. It's a really big event that happens every year in the Gallatin Valley. It's called the Give Big event. The Give Big event happens for 24 hours, and it is essentially an event to help raise money for nonprofits. This year, because of coronavirus, the whole thing is going to have to be kind of on an online version. You can donate online, you can donate via their website, but we, Montana Outdoor Science School, is teaming up with Montana Science Center to put on a trivia night for this event. We're kind of making it more of a fun way to donate money if you are willing and able. It is going to be laid out like this. There's going to be 40 spots available for participants. Every household counts as a participant, every family in that household. It's only $25 to play, which is really fun. It's tomorrow night from 7 to 8 o'clock. That's the 30th of May, and it is going, or I'm sorry, the 30th of April, and it is going to be also a prized trivia night. So first place prizes, this is really fun. First place prize gets one spot at any Moss summer camp, and it has no expiration date. So if you have a kiddo who you aren't necessarily wanting to send to camp this summer, you can use it next year. That is the beauty of that. So that's the first place prize for that trivia night tomorrow. The second place prize, oh, I'm sorry, there's one more thing that goes with the first place prize. It's a family membership to the Montana Science Center. I believe that they just had a new place that they moved into, so you get to go check out all of that and see what that's all about. And then second place prize is the Montana Science Center passes, as well as a mug from them. And then third place is a Moss sweatshirt, which I am actually wearing right now. I love these sweatshirts. And you can also get one of our sweet flannels that we have on hand, and 2 pint glasses as well. So again, that's tomorrow night. That's a part of the Give Big event. The trivia night is something that Moss and MSC are hooking up together to put on to make it a little bit more fun if you are willing and able to donate money. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. If you want any more information about that event, we do have a link in the comments section. You can kind of scroll through that and click on that info and check it out. Let me get turned around here so that y'all can check out the skulls I have today. So it's feline skulls today. Last time we did canid skulls. Well, actually, last time we did an Earth Day event, but the last skull one was all about canines. And today's is going to be about cats, essentially. This one, if y'all can remember, this is a cougar skull. The cougar skull is very impressive. This one's actually the cast of a skull. It does replicate what a real cougar once looked like. Its real skull did really look like this, but this thing is made out of plastic. You can kind of tell because of that yellow coloration there too. It's also really light. I wish I could give y'all this skull to feel, because the difference between this and between this very real cougar skull is amazing. There's so much going on. You can also tell immediately how it's a cast. Look in those nasal cavities there. Let me see if I can focus the camera on that. There we go. So you can see it kind of stops partway in. That's because the mold that they used was only able to go part of the way into that skull there. Versus if you look at this real one, it has an endless maze of sinus cavity, like delicate little bones in there, all those little membranes. So that's how you know, especially, that this one over here is a cast. This one is the real deal right here. If you have any questions at any point during this session, feel free to type those into the comments section. If I don't see them, somebody is always available to check those out and to try to help answer those as well. Looking at cat skulls, it's very different right off the bat from the canine skulls that we were looking at before. You can see how rounded the face is right here. I brought out one of my dog skulls so that I can show you all the difference in that. And I think I'll pull my phone up like so. So if you remember dog skulls, whether that's your domestic dog or your wild dogs, they have kind of a big brow area or a very long snout. in either case, versus the cat. Check it out. His face is so much more rounded compared to a dog's skull. So that's an immediate difference between cats and dogs right there. Also, check out how big the orbital area is. That's the eye area. Look how much bigger that eye area is compared to the dog's skull. In proportion to its size, cats have huge eyeballs. They are able to see really, really well in the dark because of the size of their eyes, but also they have something in their eye organ. It's called, let me look at my notes here. It's a very cool word. It's called tapetum lucidum, which is a part of the eye. If you've ever seen animals at night and they have like a reflective kind of blue-green shine about their eyes, that is the tapetum lucidum. Tapetum lucidum is just a Latin word. The Latin definition literally translates into a bright tapestry, and it is bright. If you've ever seen animals at night that have a tapetum lucidum, you'll see their eyes reflect really, really vividly against any light that comes in. How it works is our eyes, we have a pupil, and light is allowed into a pupil, and as it's allowed in, light is able to kind of reflect around inside the eye, and because cats have that extra tapetum lucidum, it is able to reflect even more light. So at night they can pick up on just a little bit of light in the environment, and they are able to see far better than humans can. So that's pretty neat too. I want to show you guys that. I have a few examples of cat skulls too. I don't just have the cougar one. I'm going to put the dog one back over here. So we have the cougar, of course, and then check this out. I've also got the bobcat. I believe you guys have seen the bobcat before. And check out the size difference just right off the bat. That's a huge size difference right off there. But you can see again, proportional to its size, this skull has huge orbits for its eyes to fit into. I also have a third one, and this is actually a domestic cat. It's unfortunate it's a domestic cat, but folks find skulls out in nature all the time and donate them to Moss, and no doubt somebody found this and thought, wow, a wild animal. And it very well could have just been a feral cat. We have no clue, but that is a domestic cat for you. And check out the size difference just between those two. Cat versus bobcat, very big difference. You yourself may have a cat at home, and you could try to tell the difference between those two skull sizes, depending. I want to note too, though, this might look a little small, but if you compare this to a cat that's alive, you'll notice immediately just how much bigger it looks, of course, because cats have fur. And so if you applied that to each of these, you could then imagine how much, I guess, large these mammals must have looked when they were alive. Pretty impressive. I actually have my cat here right now. I'm gonna go grab him real quick so you guys can have a little comparison of the domestic cat skull to a real life cat. Here, Derby. Good boy. All right, Derby. This is the one time you get to be up here. So this is my kitty Derby. Derby's a good cat, but his head, y'all can see, it's not a very small head, but inside his skull is not going to be any bigger or smaller than this right here. Derby, let's have you face the camera so we can do a comparison. There we go. Good boy. So you can see, oh, I can't get him to look at the camera. That's okay. Check it out, Derby. Oh, he doesn't want to be up here. That's okay. He's not much about being a YouTube star. But nevertheless, he does have about the same size skull as this little skull right here. So that's a pretty neat thing I want to know. Sorry about that, folks. Had a little pause in the video stream there for a moment. Cats have very, very sensitive hearing. You can see, let's see, which one's going to have a really good example. So you can see these are the two ear bulbs. That's not exactly what they're called scientifically, but nevertheless, this is where all of the instruments for hearing occur. Quite large on felines. And the reason being is, you can imagine, for big cats, it's not so much a problem to see their prey. I mean, they're hunting things that are quite large. They're hunting things that move amongst their environments and are easily seen. So we can imagine lions in Africa. We can imagine tigers hunting goats on cliffs. We can also think, though, as the cat gets smaller, their hearing has to be good enough for them to be able to find smaller prey, because they're a smaller animal, of course. With cats, a lot of that ends up being rodents, lizards, birds, things that are small and therefore can hide better. So to be able to have ears where you can see without actually using your eyes to be able to hear where a creature specifically is, that is going to be a huge advantage. You can see just the size of those again. Ooh, I think I might have shown you guys this last time, but you can see the ear bones in this bobcat skull. It's super cool. That little tiny bone there is one of the 3 bones inside of a mammal ear. We have 3 bones in our ear too, so I always think that that's really neat that this one still has those attached in there like that. I don't know if the little domestic cat has quite the same structure. Oh, you can see it got broken. This is what happens typically when you end up finding skulls from the wild. They tend to be a little bit less put together. Ooh, there's even a bug exoskeleton in there. That's kind of cool. But you do see that ear bone again right there, so that's pretty neat. Ooh, there's another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, having to do with their sense of smell, cat sense of smell, and also kind of their sense of taste. This kind of goes together in one. So on all of these skulls here, there's 2 little holes in the mouth region and the nose region. Oh, let me put this one back together real quick. Can I get it? Maybe. There we go. There's 2 little holes that you can see through the nose area that go down into the mouth region. That one's not so good, but this one you can definitely see those holes. I talked at one point about how, ooh, let me get the blur. There we go. I talked about at one point how skulls have lots of holes. Sometimes this can be for arteries, this can be for nerves. In this case, this is not for either of those things. These 2 holes connect the mouth and the nose area to help cats better smell. This is called the vomeronasal organ. On cats, it's a very distinct organ that they definitely use. If you ever have had a cat at home and they kind of smell something and then they look up suddenly and their mouth is partly open, their upper lip is curled a little bit, that is them sort of using this organ to help them get a better sense of smell. Your sense of smell and your sense of taste are very much tied together. You can probably have experienced this yourself if you've ever been sick at home with a cold. If your nose is plugged, things tend to not taste as exaggerated. They're not quite as good. They're harder to smell. And on the cats here, one of my cats found a spider. That's pretty cute. On the skulls here, the way that they smell, of course, is through their nose, but then they can also breathe through their mouth to help that vomeronasal organ get a little bit of that scent. That organ has extra sensors for smelling. It has extra cells that are capable of picking up those olfactory scents as well. That's about everything I have for you guys today. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Once again, we are doing a trivia night tomorrow. We are teaming up with Montana Science Center. That's going to be from 7 to 8 o'clock, and that's a part of the Give Big event. That event is to help us to raise money for nonprofit organizations such as us and the Montana Science Center. The trivia night itself has prizes that you can win. Prizes include, for first place, the Moss Summer Camp slot. So if you have a child who wants to attend summer camps, you can use that. It is no cost to you, and it has no expiration date, which is awesome. awesome. So if you don't want to send a kiddo to camp this summer, you can send them next summer. And then it also, with the first place prize, comes family membership to Montana Science Center. And I believe that they just moved their shop, so they are in a different location, so you'll have an opportunity to check that out. And then second place prizes include passes to Montana Science Center, and then third place is Sweet Moss sweatshirt and flannel, and 2 pint glasses as well. I'll give you guys another opportunity to check out these skulls. So cool, so neat. We'll do a little size comparison again between the cougar and the bobcat and the domestic cat. Again, that size difference is pretty incredible to see. So neat. You'll know, of course, if you find a bobcat or cougar or a cat skull because of that snout. That snout's a lot more rounded versus compared to a dog skull there. You can see just how much more its snout goes downward instead of outward with the dog skull. So I think I'm going to call it from here, folks. Thank you all for joining us once again. If you like our videos, please follow us on Facebook. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And then if you have any activities or any cool things you have found, know that you can share those onto our Facebook page. We would love to see and know what you guys are all up to in these days during Corona. So thanks for joining us, everyone. We will see you on Friday at 11 p.m. for the owl dissection.